Well, when discussing commodities and the effect of construction, you do have to look over kind of short, medium, long term. But there's the change of commodity prices to, say, oil in the $80 a barrel range and other commodities following suit downward has been so fast and so recent. I think it will have impacts on construction, both the design of buildings and the material choices, but also the demand for construction in some markets that have been booming because of the resource boom of years past. So will it impact construction in, say, Edmonton, Alberta, if oil sands are challenged because of the issues surrounding commodity price of oil? Or will it impact material choices, whether it's copper used versus aluminum or other material choices because the commodity prices level out? I think it's something we're going to be watching very closely, and we expect our customers will be watching very closely to see if there are any long-lasting impacts from this. Well, healthcare, from what we've seen historically and continuing in the future, is a matter of following the people. So if you look in areas such as New England, upper Midwest with aging populations, we're seeing consistent demand for senior living facilities, nursing care facilities, assisted care facilities. However, if you look in areas such as South Texas, some parts of California, with large growing Hispanic populations, as well as just larger demographic trends towards younger populations and more growth, there needs to be more hospital beds, more clinical space, more outpatient space. Overlay that on top of the fact that, regardless of anyone's political views on the subject, Obamacare, most people seem to agree, will net increase demand for healthcare services. We think construction will follow, and that there will be demand to build more facilities to take care of more people. As is well reported, multifamily residential space has been on an absolute tear, whether it's the choice of millennials to move into cities where denser housing and closer access to transit is so desirable, or whether it is the fact that the lending institutions have raised lending standards, continue to raise lending standards to such a level that the shift from owning to renting is moving distinctly in that favor. It's huge. In some markets, you always have to wonder how long can this pace continue, and is there a risk of it overshooting? It gets into economic forecasting and population forecasting, hard for me to do, but I do think that the growth is going to be there, and I think it's going to be somewhat structural, but it'll be interesting to see when does the growth rate moderate, and what will the ultimate balance be between the kinds of finishes you expect in owned condominiums versus the kind of finishes, build-outs, and design of a rental multi-unit building. Well, you asked me about industrial space and what we're seeing. Well, a lot of news is around this, that industrial is back, and we've seen recently a surprising and encouraging amount of industrial construction. But what's interesting is both the quantity and the type of the construction seems to be shifting. So quantity, more of it, absolutely. But also, if you think about it, just as manufacturing technology is driving a much different style of manufacturing, much different processes, it's also impacting the buildings that are being built. And the buildings are not the same as they once were. So if a factory back in the day would have employed 500, it may only need 50 people. Well, that clearly impacts the size, the space, the nature, and the design of the building. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that trend continues over time. But I think industrial is going to continue to be healthy for some time now.